Oh, hello there. I was just talking to my friend Glug from the planet. He was telling me that my haircut is 500 years out of date. He's not a very nice man. Anyway, I was just thinking about a game I played about 500 years ago called Coup, or as the French pronounce it, Coup. I'm the 2014 variant of Matt Lees, and this is the opener. And today, yes, we've got Coup. Now, Coup is a game that comes in a shiny box, and it's a game about hidden identities and bluffing. Oh, we've played quite a lot of these already, haven't we, Matt? Yes, we have. And it is quite similar to Masquerade, but there are some important differences. For those of you who haven't seen my opener about Masquerade, it's a game where you don't really know who you are. You have specific roles that you can lie about being, but you might not actually be that person. And a lot of time you don't know who you are either. Long story short, it's a bit mad. And actually part of the fun of Masquerade is this crazy confusion that gets everyone laughing, but it also can put people off because at first it just seems really silly. However, Coup is different because you've still got your big bags of money. These are cool, like future chips. Futuristic chips. And you've still got different character types that can do different things. But the first difference in Coup is you each have 2 cards in front of you. And the second difference in Coup is that you know what they are. And you can look at them at any time, which is doesn't sound like a luxury, but obviously, if you have seen the Masquerade video, it's a pretty big difference. But once you get over the initial similarities between Coup and Masquerade, you realise that actually they play in a very different way. There are only 5 different characters in play at any one time, but they all do different things. And you get this horrible little card sheet that tells you what they all do and how you can counter-effect the other. And it's not as complicated as it looks, but it kind of makes itself look a bit complicated with that. Don't worry, it's fine. The way it tends to work is when it's your go, you can basically claim to be something. Say, I'm the Duke, and I'm going to take 3 monies from the bank, please. Or, I'm the captain, and I'm going to steal some monies from you. The nice thing is, each of these classes, each of these different people can also counter. So if you've got a captain, and somebody else tries to steal money from you with a captain, then, oh no, you don't, because I've got a captain. But you don't do that. No. Matthew. You don't show them the card unless you're called on it. And if somebody calls you out and says, you aren't the captain, you haven't got a captain, then you have to reveal that card. And if they're right and you didn't have a captain, then you have to lose 1 of your 2 cards. But if they're wrong and you are the captain, then they lose 1 of theirs. And this is a big difference here in the fact that this game does have knockouts. It's a quick game, you can play in about 20 minutes, but if you play badly, then you can get knocked out of the game. 2 lives and you're out. And if you lose your first life, you haven't got a good chance. But knockouts are the name of the game, which is why the assassin is such a beautifully dangerous card. For just 3 coins, you can choose to assassinate another player, and they can't do anything about it, other than hope that you're lying about having an assassin and calling you out, or possibly having a Contessa. Contessas don't do anything in the game apart from block assassinations, which is pretty useful. Can't argue with that. The way that the system of calling people out in Coup works means that you don't always necessarily want to do it. I mean, obviously, if you've got an assassin saying they're going to assassinate you, then you should probably call them out on it, otherwise you're going to lose 1 of your cards. But however, if you say that you've got a Contessa and that you are going to stop them from assassinating you, then the onus is on them to say, no, you don't. Because if you don't, it doesn't make a difference. Oh no, actually, no, it does. It makes a very big difference, because if you're about to be assassinated and you claim to have a Contessa who can block the assassin, if you don't, then you lose 2 cards. 1 for the assassin and 1 for the lie, which means you're out of the game immediately. But will they have the balls to call you out on your bluff and potentially lose a card in the process? Who knows, but it's a game that quickly devolves into lots of people eyeballing each other whilst grinning, which is a good thing. But if you don't have any magical cards that can go and kill people, you're going to have to save up some money. That's right. Calling a coup costs 11 electro bucks, which means you've got to save up some monies and then call a coup on another player, forcing them to lose one of their cards. Evil. So a quick way to make loads of money is by pretending you're a duke, but what if you really need to change some cards? Well, then you've got the ambassador, who will really spoil you with the ability to swap out some of the cards that you're currently holding for some fresh ones from the deck. But if you don't want to find yourself being spoiled rotten by the ambassador, you can also use the inquisitor, who has the ability to either exchange one card with a deck or force another player to exchange. Quite a nice one, that. Means if you know somebody else has got something good, you can try and take it away from them. And you know what? That is ruddy bloody it. Coup is a really simple game. In practice, Coup has a lot in common with the classic card game cheat, in the fact that there's a real degree of probabilities and numbers playing a major part in things. You know that there's only 3 of one card at any time, which means if it goes around the table and you've got 4 dukes being called out, there aren't 4 dukes, there are only 3. And if you've got one of them, then it means you know somebody else is a liar. And if you've got 2 of them, you know there's some serious big Billy Boners lies going on. What does that even mean? That doesn't mean anything. And that's Coup. It's quite a simple game. There's not really a lot to say here, other than it's probably going to appeal to friends of yours who've gone who are a bit more logical. Personally, I really like Masquerade and the fact that it's madness and it's just under the table nonsense. This is a bit more like Love Letter, and it's a lot of fun. I mean, the fact that you've got a deck rather than just one of each card does add a kind of almost card counting thing to it, and the fact that if you keep an eye on what's on the table or what you know is got to be in the deck, that'll help you win. It's fun. I wasn't blown away by it. It's not the sort of game that I played and immediately wanted to run out and tell everybody I knew that it was brilliant, but it's fun. And that's not to be knocked. It might not be the sort of game that you'll play with people that will really invigorate them and get them excited about the hobby, but as a simple 20-minute thing to play with your friends, it's going to entertain people. It's a lot of fun. One of my complaints I do have with this, though, quite a simple one. Why did you make the bloody cards white? I mean, I know some people use card protectors and all that stuff, but I mean, I'm not fussy about that. And having cards where you need to not know what's on the other side of them and having them being white means for someone like me, it's only going to be a matter of time of playing Coup before inevitably some of the cards get marked and then your game's kind of screwed. So, yeah, not a major concern, but for people like me who are effectively mucky pups, God, come on, think about it. Anyway, let's get extravagant. Now, chances are if you're a Gold Club member, you'll have already perfected the recipe I included in the newsletter of how to make fantastic sweet potato fries. But no, stop. Hold on to your horses, Susan, and get them back into the stables, because I've improved the recipe, and I feel it's important that we share this. Scrub the sweet potatoes roughly, like that, yeah. Cut them up into chips or fries, depending on where you are in the world. Put them into boiling water just for 2 or 3 minutes, and then straight into an oven for about 3 or 4 minutes just to dry them off. Then into a bowl to cool off for a bit. Add your spices. I recommend black pepper, chili, possibly cinnamon. Some people think that you're insane to put cinnamon in with chili and black pepper, but I am insane. If you want them to be extra crispy, add some corn flour. I don't have any, so I'm not going to. And then, and only then, cover them in olive oil. If you do the olive oil before all the other stuff, it will clump up and be messy. Whack it on magic oven paper, into the oven for about 20-25 minutes, and oh my God, these are delicious. And that's it, perfect sweet potato fry thing. Some of them sweet potato fries. Go mama. They are delicious with fish, quite good with fish fingers, or just on their own. Have them in a big bowl. You might need to do a few goes in the oven though, because they really do take up space and you need to keep them separate, otherwise they will get all clumped up and squishy. And look, I'm holding the potatoes now! I've completely broken the illusion of video editing. Apologies for that. Finally, do make sure that you eat them with mayonnaise, because you don't have to eat them with mayonnaise, but if you don't eat them with mayonnaise, then I don't like you. So, Thank you very much for watching. Goodbye.